Well, just to let you know, this is now Uncharted Waters. This is the After the Show podcast. This is where we drink and swear. Saber's having a delicious Shock Top right now. What kind of beer is that? That's a Shock Top Ruby Fresh.
It's got grapefruit in it.
Ugh, it's not my kind of flavor. Ugh.
You got those for me.
Whatever. Hey, it's pizza, baby. It's, it's trying to get you to a place.
Trying to get you just doesn't enjoy. Those are great. I love the grapefruit infused beers.
Me too.
Surprising, it's actually too sweet for me. I think I don't like things sweet with my beer. I like it to be a little bit more ballsy.
Balls beer.
Okay. Everybody's got their thing, baby.
Yeah.
Okay. So you and Virginia are both going to go see a psychic tonight?
Well, no, I have a Vicky who is on our Weird and Whatever podcast.
Yeah.
She's going to be doing psychic readings for everybody on the show. And her whole thing was, and I told you about Vicky and why I like her, because she says, look, I'm not going to shoot 100%. Any psychic that tells you you're going to be shooting 100%, they're lying to you. It's like everything. Nobody bats 1,000.
And if a psychic, if you walk away from it and you feel like all bad stuff, they're not good. Psychics are supposed to give you hope.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think it's good for them. And I also don't think you should trust the psychic that just gives you good shit, too, because that's not realistic. We're all going to have storms in our lives, and we all got to prepare for them, if you believe in that kind of stuff. But she was talking about what a cool thing to do is, if you want a more accurate reading, bring some clothing from the loved one you want to talk about, or if you're having girl problems, bring a picture of the girl. Those items, I guess, you can get energy from. I know it sounds crazy.
Okay.
But yeah.
Yeah, it's so hard to really judge. The only time I'm ever impressed by psychics is just when they say something like, okay, there's no way that they would or should know that. And I think a lot of times I just kind of always look at the person who they're doing the reading for, and they are so psychic hopeful.
Yeah, like if a psychic walked up to you on the side of the street and go, when you were 17, you jerked off in that corner by all those peanuts and only you know about, like something really specific that only
whoa.
you knew about.
You jerked off on all the peanuts that the other people were going to eat?
Well, just something that no, not that they're going to eat, but I'm just using that as a shorthand, just as an example to kind of say, all right, that's what would be very impressive.
Right.
There's one that is, apparently he's all the thing today. He's got this show, Hollywood Medium. And I was watching the clip. Tyler Henry's his name.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, he's very popular right now. Young little kid. I
Yeah.
mean, he can't be but maybe 23, 24.
And supposedly his thing is he doesn't do any research whatsoever on whoever he's reading. And so that's why people are just so blown away. Yet anybody he's reading would take all of 15 seconds to do a Google search to find the information he's giving them in the reading, and they're blown away. And in this week's episode, he's got T-Boss from TLC, and he's connecting with Lisa Left Eye Lopez. And he's like, she's saying something about South America. Does that make sense? South America.
And
Has she ever been to South America? And T-Boss like, yes, Honduras. And she's saying something about a car. There's a car, and there's a car accident. She says if she would have been driving in any other country but Honduras, that she wouldn't have died. And she's just happy that no one else lost their life. Was she the only one? And it's like,
and the other thing too, I'm seeing waterfalls, and she's saying, "Don't chase them." It's
yeah. and they've got people in this other room, and you got T-Boss, and they're going, oh my gosh, did he just say that? Did he just say that? And I'm like, oh my gosh, he did not say anything that none of us who know anything about the TLC story don't know already.
Everybody knows what happened. Like,
everybody knows.
That's not impressive.
And I'm sitting there going, this is a fucking show?
People love.
I'm like,
Kevin,
who is watching this? And anyone being like, going, wow, this is something. I mean, I'm like,
He's done other readings where it hasn't been stuff that the public knew. Yeah, this one was super lame. I saw the headlines. I was like, really?
Two kinds of people watch those. You got the cynic that loves to hate on it. That's a natural thing. That's easy to understand. And I think people who are searching for answers, that have lost a loved one, that they are having a very tough time dealing with their absence. And I think when you have that kind of emotion, people want to believe. And that's just it. That's just it.
It makes sense. I understand why the dynamic, why it works, and why people go. But my criteria and I wish everybody did, is a higher standard for a psychic, where it's like, tell me something that's like, okay, there is no explanation for how they just said that or how they knew that. That is not a generalization. That's not something you could easily do a Google search on.
Okay, for
or
example,
even an advanced Google search on to find.
My sister called up this psychic back in the day, and this is after my mom died, and she called the person, and when they got on the phone, they were talking about how they couldn't do any readings and how they didn't have time to do any readings right now because their schedules didn't match up. Now, this is a cold call. Then all of a sudden, this woman started reading everything about my mom and about my sister's childhood, and she swears to this day, there's no way this woman could have known, where my mom was from and what my mom looked like. This is back when she was living in New York. How do you explain that on a cold call? And she didn't charge her for it either, which makes me when people don't charge for shit, I don't know why it makes me think
it's legit.
It's legit.
Yeah. Those are the ones where you're like going, okay, there's just no explanation as to how they do it. And sometimes it's like, it's not like, okay, that could have been luck. Like if you do like 2 to 3 in the reading, I'd say 3, where you're like going, okay, there's 3 things in there that there's no way they should have known. I'm like, okay, that's pretty legit.
Well, like anything, there's got to be great psychics and there's got to be shitty psychics that have a really low percentage.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you use psychics on Yelp? I'm sure you could.
I'm sure you could. Yeah, they probably have reviews.
Mm-hmm. So you guys have got your own thing. What's your psychic deal about, Virginia?
Mine is with Maureen, the same psychic that I've used for a few years now, the one that I think has been pretty dead on with a lot of stuff she told me. I've got specific questions. I've got a lot of stuff that I'm struggling with that I hope that she can help me out.
Yeah.
I want to find out, too, more details. She's really into astrological stuff, and I really want to get more details about me, like not just what my sun sign is, what's my moon sign, and when because every month there's different types of the month where you're going to be more prone to be affected by the moon and not. And I really want to get more into that because she knows a lot about that kind of stuff, too.
Okay.
But I also have questions about, I feel like just weird and down sometimes, and I'm just like, is that the moon or is that just me, or am I just like going through something? Am I about to be like a menopausal bitch? Like, what's coming up for me?
So I think everybody goes through ups and downs, and I think sometimes for some people the highs are real high and the lows are real low. But I think it's normal for everybody on this earth to kind of walk around, and just sometimes the blues hit you and you may not know why. It's just you don't want to live down in that area. So it's good that you're trying to do something about it.
I don't like it. It's not fun.
I think one of the things that's tough as you get a little bit older, sometimes you always question yourself, being, okay, did I always used to be this crazy, or am I getting crazier? And that sometimes you're like trying to monitor because you see maybe like you got a parent or a grandparent that was like batshit crazy, and you're like going, okay, am I turning into that? Were they like that when they were my age?
See, I kind of look at it a different way. I'm actually way less crazier than when I was younger. But then I'm sitting thinking, but you're still so fucking crazy. You're gonna be a fucking weirdo. And that's okay. And that's okay. And I've gotten better, and I'm still shit nuts. But I think everyone's crazy, though. I think Kevin's crazy. I think everyone's crazy.
Everybody does have their own crazy.
In their own way.
Yeah, exactly.
In their own way. Their own little ticks, their own little quirks.
Sure.
That I don't know if that necessarily makes you crazy. It just probably makes you unique.
Well, I think
for a lot of people.
I think everyone's got the feeling sometimes like they are a little bit, they're thinking maybe crazy, or they're going crazy, or they're just like you're talking about, just having the blues and being down and out. I mean, being a human's not fucking easy, man.
It's real.
It's weird.
Mm-hmm. Well, I got this from Julian Stewart. She said, can we see a before and after of Virginia's boobs in the same outfit? The new ones look super fabulous.
A lot of compliments on the new tatas, by the way.
They look so natural on you. I would love to see the comparison.
Yeah, I mean, I am just a little bit smaller and a little bit tighter.
Can we do a before and after? Do you have a good before? Can we do a good after?
I mean, I've got fleshy ones with no clothing on them of before and after.
Okay, yeah, maybe we can blur those some way.
It looks like that you put your boobs on almost like a training regimen, like a diet, and you just tighten them up a bit.
Yes. So they're just a little higher and tighter. They're just a little perkier.
Okay.
The areola's a little smaller, and they're just, more like youthful boobs instead of these old, tired fun bags I was rocking, in the beginning of 2017.
Okay.
They had become kind of like long and flat, which is not a good look.
Not the great way you want to describe breasts.
No, you want them to be high and perky and cute. You don't want them long and flat.
I get it. Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. Okay. I want to get your quick hot take here on a couple of new movies. Tom Cruise saying that Top Gun 2 is going to start shooting probably in the next year. Can we go with a great script?
I think it's going to be great. And, say what you want about Tom Cruise, whether you like him as a man or not. That guy does not do many stink bombs. Whether the critics like it or not, he does well at the box office, and most of his movies are very entertaining.
Okay. They're going to be doing Dirty Dancing on ABC, and they say on this show they're going to reveal what happens to Baby and Johnny years later.
I hate it. God, I hate it.
Selling on that one.
I don't like
I kind of don't like
I
that
don't
either.
like that.
I kind of don't think I like that either. Buying or selling this, Charlie Sheen says Major League 3 is ready to go with the original cast as soon as somebody just writes him a check.
Does Charlie know that Major League 2 didn't work that well? And then they did Major League back in spring training or back in the minors, which was even a little bit more removed from part 1 and 2, which was...
I'm selling that one.
Selling.
So, because what are you going to be? You got the original cast. So are you guys still playing?
Is Charlie just trying to get himself a gig?
I think so. I think Charlie desperately needs money.
Yeah.
And that's all he's doing.
The way you can make that work is if Charlie Sheen and Tom Berenger were the managers of the squad, and then you throw a couple other old cast members as maybe, supportive coaching staff, and then you have to have a great younger cast that's going to be funny, and the writing can't be cheesy and hokey. That's what happened in part 2. Part 2 was terrible compared to part 1. Part 1's arguably one of the greatest baseball movies ever made.
But if you lean on nostalgia, I don't think it's so far removed like people really necessarily care.
I think you're right, kid.
They're like, what?
Aww.
Yeah, so you might want to wait for that.
We're
check.
selling.
Yeah. Just letting you know about Spider-Man. Somebody kind of broke down the history, and it has to do with like the studios and who owned what. Part of it I didn't know was they were working on Spider-Man 4 with Tobey Maguire. That should have happened, but the director and the studio couldn't agree, so they canceled it.
Wow.
They could have done a 4. I thought the 3 was still good.
Oh,
1 and 2 were great. The 3 is still good.
The part in the jazz club when he's dancing around and shit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's why I say 3. I kind of say that a little bit more. It wasn't as good.
Loved the first one.
I thought the first one was great. I think the second one is good too. I like the first 2 that Tobey Maguire did.
Was second Doc Ock?
Yeah.
Okay.
That
was good.
I thought that was pretty good as well, and that's kind of like where I always love that when they discover who she finds out who really is Spider-Man, and that's kind of cool. So yeah, now it's dancing around. It's between Marvel and Sony and all this kind of stuff. And then the whole thing now is they want to have these superheroes so they don't exist in a universe where it's just them, where all these other superheroes are there and they can interact, do all this kind of stuff.
Well, you see that's what they're doing with Star Wars now. They're turning that into like the Marvel franchise where they're releasing all these new movies.
Yeah, and that's what everybody's doing. But the only problem with this stuff, I can't be the only one that is so confused by everything, and I can't keep them straight. All of them. And
I'm with you.
It's not just Star Wars. It's Marvel. I'm like going, okay, wait a minute. What? Okay, Loki was this guy's brother, but he turned bad, but he's now here. And then I'm like, it's not only all the movies, but it's over the course of how many years? A lot of these franchises now, what is the Avengers franchise? That's probably coming up on 10 years, isn't it? With Iron Man and everything. They made 3 movies. So, over the course of a decade and how many damn movies, you're like going, okay, I totally remember what's going on with all these characters. It's like Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones is like a math exam as far as, I'm like, who is this old fuck that's British? What is it? Is he the same guy? Did he die? Can you keep the character straight?
No. A lot of these things I can't. It's one of the toughest things, and it's why I finally told myself I'm going to be a little bit more stringent, I think, on what I'm going to binge watch. My summertime, and I'm so excited. I was talking about Bloodline on Friday. You got a whole bunch of other great stuff that is going to be coming out as well. You got Orange is the New Black that is going to be dropping a new season. I got my Ray Donovan that comes back on Showtime. So I got 3 great shows to watch this summer.
I'm noticing you're awfully quiet there, Sinicki, as we talk about Marvel and Star Wars.
I wouldn't watch those movies if you paid me. I mean, maybe if you talk like a couple zeros behind
You
it.
don't like the superhero movies at all?
No, it doesn't do it for me. I sat through Iron Man for Panda because he loved Iron Man.
Yeah.
Did you hate it?
I didn't hate it, but I'm not going to seek it out. It's just not my bag. Mm-hmm. I don't know, it's just
I hear you. I get
falls
it.
flat.
I know a lot of people that hate superhero shit. People hate Star Wars. How can you hate Star Wars?
I'd prefer like a documentary or something quirky or just something different. I don't know. It's just too major blockbuster main thing that everybody's talking about. Ugh, no thanks.
I hope everyone enjoys it.
Not your thing.
Not my thing.
There's somebody can give me a reading if I do get through those 3 shows, and I'm sure I will here this summer. I'm thinking about taking on another one, but I want to find out if I should or not. Kyle Chandler, who is in Bloodline. He plays the older brother, John Rayburn. He's been in a whole bunch of other things. He's one of those people, he was in Friday Night Lights.
Yeah.
I didn't realize, I think he won a couple of Emmys for Friday Night Lights, and it's about football, and it'd be at the tail end of the summer, it'd be leading into football season. Is that worth binge watching? It's the one with Connie Britton is in it as well. They did a movie about it, and then I guess they turned it into a long-running TV show.
Okay, so I loved the movie.
I did too. I
liked
liked the movie a
movie's
lot.
like the show, and I've heard a lot of great things for the show. I think you're going to get some love stories in there, but you're also going to get some football, but I think you're going to have a little bit of both on that.
Okay, yeah. So I'm just kind of curious, is that worth jumping into to binge watch towards the tail end of the summer when I get through the other 3 shows?
I think you need to binge watch Sons of Anarchy. I really think
It's so violent. I hear it's so violent.
Well, I mean, you're not going to really go, you're going to start beating me up now?
No,
you watch
it's not
it?
it. It's just, but I'm one of those people excessive gore and stuff like that. I'm just I don't
Isn't
know.
Game of Thrones like that though?
Some of it is.
I mean, I would
Is
hope,
it more gory than Games of
Yeah,
Thrones?
I mean, there's a lot of language. There's a lot of sex stuff. There are moments where their violence is over the top, where the one guy gets killed in prison, and you're like, oh my god, that's pretty hard to watch.
Spoiler.
Well, yeah, but you don't know what guy. There's a lot of guys in there. Mm-hmm. Or was I lying about that? I feel bad.
No, he's ruining stuff.
I ruin stuff all the time. But yeah, I think you would like it. Or if not, I'll just go fuck myself.
Okay, all right. I know people say that I should check it out.
It's very good. You would actually like it, Virginia.
Anarchy? Yeah.
Sons of Anarchy, you would.
I think I would watch that.
A lot of drama. It's about cliques, people fucking people over.
Yeah.
Really good.
Okay. Yeah, maybe something to check out. But I'm excited about all the watching that's going to be coming up.
Just be prepared. You're gonna want to join a motorcycle gang when you watch that. You're gonna want to start wearing leather. Remember when I went through my motorcycle phase?
Yes.
Yeah, it makes you want to.
Yeah, you start talking about how you want to try to join a gang, and somebody's like, be careful. You come off like you're mocking it. These bikers will hunt you down and kill you.
Well, I remember those 2 guys messed with me. I went actually out to a motorcycle gang, and then I went there, and it was the lamest shit. They're like, oh, yeah, we're retired. Really can't talk about it. And it was just us sitting around. They were smoking cigarettes, and I was just drinking gross lemonade the whole time.
It's such a letdown.
It was such a letdown. It's like a 3-hour day.
Some advice here. Another thing I'm working on this summer, my Spanish. Somebody said, Elena said, hey, I'm also a gringa trying to learn Spanish. My husband is Chilean. I do the Duolingo app 5 to 6 times a week. My husband also tells me that you need to watch Spanish TV shows. Gladly, because there's a lot of hot chicks on those
Get
shows.
your Telemundo on.
Yeah. Speak to your wife all the time with whatever you know. And also, my son is 8. He is doing the Duolingo program on our computer for 15 minutes a day. And scientists say the best time to learn is from 8 to 12. So get your son to do it. Good luck. I'm trying to. Now, I found out something last night about my father-in-law I didn't know. He's 100% Mexican.
Yeah.
Speaks Spanish fluently.
Yeah.
Didn't know. My oldest son told me he can't write in Spanish.
Huh.
Never even thought about that. So he can speak it fluently, but because I guess, growing up, he went to English-speaking schools.
Interesting.
And so he always just, had to converse because his mom was obviously 100% Mexican. I think all she spoke pretty much was Spanish and just some broken English.
I got a friend who's Mexican and can't speak a lick of it, but can understand everything you say. Can't speak it, but knows exactly. So if someone was talking shit,
Yeah.
you'd be like, okay, they're talking shit.
Yeah, my wife is kind of like that. She knows a good bit more than I do, just in understanding.
Keywords.
Yeah, but she can't speak it if she got in with the whole thing. And she has that. And that's the interesting thing is because, Spanish speakers here in South Florida, they can pretty much a lot of times recognize, even though there's some Hispanics that you just have no idea. Really? You're Spanish? You're like, yeah. They'll always come up to my wife and start speaking Spanish. And it's great when they're like, it's almost like that look of complete disappointment because they can see how, my wife looks 100% Hispanic. And just the look of disappointment, like going,
really?
Really? You've got all that Spanish blood coursing through your veins and you don't know any of it. You can't even carry on a basic conversation with me.
You've let down your people.
Yeah, it is. It's that look of just, yes. And a lot of times and they keep speaking and she's like,
surely you're going to get it.
She finally has to say, no, I don't know. I can't do this at all. And they are so disappointed.
That's funny.
Got this from Ivan and Luz. Says, hey, we're listening to the Say What bit on the podcast when my Colombian wife so casually / smugly mentioned that Colombian Spanish was the best to learn. She even challenged me to Google it. So I Googled which country speaks the best Spanish and found this article, the 5 best places to learn Spanish. And Colombia was indeed number 1.
Huh.
So there you go. It seems like all the Hispanic-speaking or the Spanish-speaking countries are very competitive with one another. They are very much like, no, we're number 1 in this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's got who their top dog is. It's theirs, and then they all have the bottom dog too.
Okay. Somebody texted in and said, I still send Coach Taylor's pep talk every year to my nephew on his birthday. Definitely watch Friday Night Lights series. Think I'm going to do that leading into a football season. There's exactly 99 days, Virginia, until the first High State Buckeye game.
Wow.
This is a tough time of year if you're a true Buck or just even a football fan because you're still so far away from the season, and it feels like it's been forever. It's been really since January since we've seen anything, and you're still the length of a whole season away from seeing anything. And it's so depressing. That's why I'm so happy the last couple of years with great TV. You're going, okay, finally, I got something to do. So there you go. All right, got any emails? You can always send them to us, mail@kvjshow.com. Make sure you go check out the Bud's Chicken and Seafood, 7 different locations in Palm Beach County.
Anytime me and Denny's have to edit a video, we always celebrate while we're editing with Bud Chicken and Seafood.
Oh, it's like a reward meal.
It really is. We love it. Try the bird sauce. It's delicious. I promise you.
There you go. Check it out. You guys have a great day. We'll talk to you later. Goodbye.
Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems, ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.